This is the front page of the Finder. Presidential empowerment for male entrepreneurs with disability to be held today. 16.6 billion Ghana cedi revenue shortfall pushes deficit to 11.4%. COVID-19 slows GDP growth to 0.9%. And 10,200 diagnosed with high blood pressure in Ghana. And the other one, 100 billion cedis to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on the economy.
Front page of the Daily Guide says 4 million euro Airbus scandal reveals gluttonous corruption with a photo of Martin Amidu. Akufo-Addo stops Ursula GBC order. The finance minister is also here. Nana unveils goodies. 100 billion, free light and water.
The Chronicle, Airbus scandal probe on Earth's forgery. There's a picture of Martin Amidu. There is nothing in this budget, minority. Mahama awarded contracts by Heart, Ufreata, and Free Water Electricity extended.
The Herald's front page says Gender Minister blew a whooping 54 million Ghana cedis on COVID-19 food. There's a photo of Cynthia Mamle Morrison, the Gender Minister here. Asafo Mafo Sanat Snitch cited in $500 million government deal. Gasping, Martin Amidu still can't mention Airbus bribe collectors as he fights police, CID, and others over Interpol red alert.
The new weekend crusading guide. Government extends free utilities for consumers as media budget reduces CST. 2 billion Ghana cedi guarantee scheme for businesses. Local government ministry applauded for second disinfection exercise in markets, lorry parks. Allow children to go back to school. Kwan's estate boss to government. Anane Betiani is not chief of Kou Etibie. This is according to the Kingmakers. And President Akufo-Addo calls for suspension of GBC DTT directives.
And finally from me, Bernard, some business news for you. 100 billion Ghana cedis package unveiled to revive economy. Ufreata request extra 11 billion cedis to run economy also here. And President empowers disabled entrepreneurs today.
Now, the Ghanaian publisher, another 3 months of free electricity, free water. Ufreata, we did not conspire with BOG to collapse Ghanaian banks. And COVID-19, Akufo-Addo to unveil 100 billion Ghana cedi alleviation program.
Let me take you online just for a few more stories. CityNewsroom.com is full of budget. Baumia to open 100-bed infectious disease center at Ghana East today. Meanwhile, government requests 11.8 billion cedi supplementary budget amid COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, government reduces talk tax from 9% to 5%. Meanwhile, minority Sidnapo says disturbing media budget geared towards elections. Also, calls for our Kumsin sacking are needless. This is according to Freddie Blave. CityBusinessNews.com still on budget. 13.6 billion cedi spent so far on financial sector cleanup, according to Finance Minister, as a request for 11 billion. IPP is disappointed over silence on their $1.4 billion debt in the media budget. Also, over 57 million cedis of CAP fund disbursed to 64,000 MSMEs. MyJoyOnline.com. Haba Kumsin was just a victim in Kaswa shooting incident. People are exaggerating, according to Freddie Blay. Meanwhile, government spent 54.3 million cedis on cooked meals during the 21-day lockdown. And of course, we told Ghanaians to enjoy 3 months free electricity. Let me take you to Star News. Hopeless media budget, an attempt to steal from Ghanaians. This is the minority. Also, government to pay laid-off workers temporary incomes. There's a lot of subheadings from the budget. For example, there's another one here on City Newsroom that says local construction firms to build the 88 new district hospitals and others. So that's a great one for us. And government announces 10.3 million Ghana cedi package for infected health personnel. Meanwhile, NMC chair says DTT platform must be managed by a public entity. That's from our interview yesterday. Globally, Trump scraps party convention in virus flare-up. And CNN has an interesting take. It says Trump's briefings were meant to show him in charge. Now they are becoming absurd. Meanwhile, China orders U.S. consulate to close. There's a lot happening in that region as well. Let's start with the highlights of the budget. Gentlemen, what's the big story for you there?
Okay, I'll start with the BNFT today.
Okay.
What do you think?
Why not?
Okay, let's go there. So on the front page of the BNFT, Oforiatta requests 11 billion cedis extra to run economy. Story on page 3. of the paper. It was nothing short of expectation when Finance Minister Kenu Fariata in his mid-year budget presentation asked Parliament to approve an extra 11 billion cedis to inject into the economy as he counts the cost of the coronavirus pandemic on the economy. According to the minister, provisional fiscal data for the first half of the year showed that revenue mobilization fell short of target by 26%, resulting mainly from shortfalls in oil revenue, customs receipts, and non-oil tax revenues. Total revenue and grants for January to June 2020 amounted to 22 billion cedis compared with a program target of 29 billion cedis.
The other headlines for me are the local construction firms to build. These are highlights of things promised. The one that caught my attention, local construction firms to build 88 new district hospitals and others. Now, the story says the government has committed to ensuring that all its planned 100 bed hospitals in 88 needy districts, among other health interventions, are executed by local construction companies. During the media budget review, the Finance Minister Kenu Fariata said this direction will lay the foundation for the launch of a nationwide housing program. The plan has been called Agenda 111 and will see the designing, building, and equipping and staffing of new hospitals in every district without a hospital. In addition, government will also provide a new regional hospital in every region that does not have one. Now, the Minister of Finance made this announcement during the budget presentation yesterday.
Now, before you come in, also on that, as part of the consumption of Made in Ghana campaign, he noted that government will vigorously promote the consumption of locally produced goods and services in order to support local businesses and generate employment.
Okay, then government reduces talk tax from 9 to 5%. Just give me the highlight that I like before we go into other things.
Reduction in communication service tax from 9% to 5%.
All right.
2 billion Ghana cedis in loans to large businesses. He said the government will establish a guarantee scheme of up to 2 billion Ghana cedis to enable businesses to borrow from banks. Now, the bit about free water and electricity
It's also there.
is also captured by the finder, and the breakdown to lifeline customers, to regular customers, to the mining sector, 127.2 million Ghana cedis. That was a relief the mining sector enjoyed. Companies like Aluwex, Diamond Cement, Savannah Cement, Enclave Power Limited, 7.9 million Ghana cedis, totaling per month, totaling 23 million for 3 months, and some other breakdowns in there for us. Now, the big one for me, Bernard, is the 100 billion Ghana cedi COVID-19 rescue package.
All right.
That is captured in the Ghanaian Times, center spread. Now, the story says a 100 billion Ghana cedi development program that seeks to help the country absorb the shocks of the COVID-19 pandemic and get the economy back on its track is to be rolled out by the government. The 3.5-year program, named the COVID-19 Alleviation and Revitalization of Enterprises Support, with the tagline Obatampa, is expected to anchor the transformation of the country. Shedding light on the program, the minister said 70 billion Ghana cedis of the amount to be drawn from the private sector, and it was sequenced in 2 phases: a stabilization phase that will run from this month to the end of the year, and a revitalization phase which will be implemented from 2021 to 2023.
Well, reactions have come.
Yes.
And on page 16 of the Daily Graphic, the minority says mid-year budget, another government manifesto promise. The minority in Parliament has described the mid-year review of the 2020 budget statement by the Finance Minister as another manifesto promise that offers no hope in alleviating the suffering of the ordinary Ghanaians. Clearly, this is not the time for the Finance Minister to announce this program, as it is a manifesto pledge, and the mid-year review document is not for manifestos. Speaking, and this is minority spokesperson on finance, Mr. Kessel Forsen. He said mid-year review is for the Finance Minister to review the existing budget and not for him to come and read to us a new budget. He was not only reading a new budget, what he has done means that he has actually introduced a manifesto promise into official documents, and we urge the ordinary Ghanaian to be mindful that this mid-year review budget brings about nothing. Now, on accountability, Mr. Forsen said that government had spent 11 billion cedis on COVID-19 expenditure this year without giving Ghanaians a breakdown of how the money was expended. We had thought the Finance Minister would use this golden opportunity to provide Ghanaians a breakdown of what the 11 billion cedis was being used for, but he did not. He indicated the original 2020 budget had stated that government would borrow an additional 18 billion cedis, but the Finance Minister only appeared in Parliament to tell Ghanaians that the government would rather borrow 44 billion this year.
Now, let me give you some other interesting things from the budget. 54.3 million cedis was spent on food for vulnerable people during the lockdown. This is a story by Ellen Lapa on citinewsroom.com, and says the government spent 54.3 million cedis to provide cooked and uncooked food for the vulnerable in Accra and Kumasi during the 3-week lockdown period. This was revealed by Minister of Finance yesterday. The president, of course, the background is given. Now, updating Ghanaians on the cost incurred by government to alleviate the plight of citizens within this period, the minister said government to the gender and NADMO provided 1,827,521 cooked food packs to vulnerable persons within Accra and Kumasi, and almost 1 million cooked food packs to people in Kumasi. In collaboration with faith-based organizations, the government also distributed dry food packages to 470,000 families. Then the details are given. Now, the other couple of quick things on the budget that I think are a bit interesting. So, finance minister says we should be prepared for difficult years. This is on Star FM. The government of Ghana has urged citizens to brace themselves for difficult years due to the negative impact of COVID-19 on Ghana's economy. The finance minister made these comments Thursday when he presented the media budget. Here's a quote. COVID-19 pandemic is far more than a crisis, and Ghana's economy hasn't been spared. We must not and will not be daunted by this crisis. The predicted long-lasting effects of this pandemic suggest that 2020 and beyond will be difficult. Ghana will therefore need a courageous and competent government. We have proved over time that we are better. Then finally, IPPs are not happy over silence on their $1.4 billion debt.
Yes,
Story
it's
says,
captured in the Times as well.
Give us the
Ghana's
details.
independent power producers, which provide almost half of the country's electricity, say they could stop supply to the government over debt that amounted to $1.4 billion as of June 30. The Chamber of Independent Power Producers, Distributors and Bulk Consumers, in an email statement on Tuesday, said the debt continues to accumulate, compelling the IPPs to contract costly loans to sustain their generation. And in their statement, they also said that they want the government to share how it intends to repay its debt in a mid-year budget presentation. That was yesterday, and then it wasn't done, so they said they are not happy.
Okay.
And they said the plan should also include measures to enable the state-run Electricity Company of Ghana to pay suppliers on time, the group said. You remember when the PDF issue came in? PDS, right? And we asked questions. PDS then told us that they were able to pay the IPPs on time. And he actually interviewed them to ascertain the veracity of that claim by PDS. Now, why is it that after the fiasco and the restructuring and everything, IPPs are coming back to say that they are not being paid on time now?
Fair enough.
Well, if you go to page 2 of the Statesman, still on economic goodies, 232 1D, 1F projects at various stages despite COVID-19. Now, this was revealed by the finance minister, and according to him, under the 1D, 1F, 232 projects are at various stages of completion and implementation. Among these, 76 are completed and operational, while the remainder, including 5 medium-sized agro-processing factories, are under construction. 12 of these companies received approval for import duty exemptions to the tune of 34 million Ghana cedis. A total of 154 districts out of the 260 districts are benefiting from the program.
Let me give you something that will make you guys happy. Baumia to open 100-bed infectious disease center at Ghana East today. This story says the vice president will today, July 24, commission Ghana's first ever 100-bed infectious disease center at the Ghana East Municipal Hospital. The project, which was undertaken by the Ghana Private Sector Fund at the National COVID-19 Treatment Center commencement on April 17, 2020, was expected to be completed in May, delayed due to various reasons, including modification in response to requests by the GMA, other infectious disease clinicians and biomedical scientists. Now, chairperson for the COVID-19 Trust Fund, Madam Sophia Kufu, told the center, told City News she is impressed with the work done so far. And this is really a testimony of private sector working together with government agencies and bodies. Fantastic project. In fact, there's a story in the graphic.
So the vice president will inaugurate it or commission it today.
Officials of the built environment of Ghana, professional backgrounds made up of your engineers, your architects, your planners, your surveyors. Last Wednesday, paid a joint visit to the first ever Ghana Infectious Disease Center at Ghana East in Kwabenya. And Mr. Senyo Hosi took them on a tour of the place. And speaking before the tour, president of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Alexander Leslie Aye, then gave some background to the project and spoke about how all these people work together.
I don't know if this question is a legitimate question to ask now. In July 2017, at the Meet the Press at the Jubilee House, you asked the president about the status of the residence of the vice president. The president elected the vice president to answer that question. It's July 2020. We've not seen any progress on that work. And the vice
So there's
president
nobody
was not
staying
happy
in that house
about
still?
Nothing is happening there. And
Wow.
remember all the statements that were made about that particular project. If the COVID-19 project has been able to come to completion, it should inform us as to how to approach national infrastructure. And the
Okay.
vice president should be able to speak to.
Now let's
that
go
abandoned
to
residents.
Ewutu Senya East. Freddie
Oh,
Blaze
okay.
says calls for Hawa Kumsin sacking are needless. He's the chairman of the MPP. He's described calls for the sacking of the special development minister because she fired a gun at a voter registration center as absolutely needless. In a statement, he said such calls should be totally regarded. It is most worrying to see different groups expected to be more objective in their submission, rather fall for the propaganda and misrepresentation of the opposition NDC in relation to the matter. Okay, that's what he says.
So what does he think should be done?
Let me read more. With the unfolding evidence and facts surrounding the incident, it is clear that her actions were in self-defense to the unwarranted attacks on her and her team by masked motorists invited by the NDC to disrupt the process in her constituency. He described Hawa Kumsin as one of the calmest female reps of the MPP in Parliament. Okay, then there's another story.
Do you want the DTT story?
I'm coming. There's one else on the Ewutu Senya on citynewsroom.com
Okay.
that says that they have smoked the peace pipe. That story is coming in from the Central Region's Calvis Tete. It says Ewutu Senya is NDC MPP smoked peace pipe after Ofakos 2's intervention. And it says the MPP and the NDC in the Ewutu Senya East district have both committed to ensuring peace during the peace after the Odupon Ofakos 2 called the two political parties to order. This comes after the incident we just reported. So, according to the chief of Odupon Ofakos, the incident has put Ewutu Senya in bad light. It therefore invited the two political parties on Thursday to deliberate on the way forward in ensuring lasting peace in the constituency, especially throughout the voter registration exercise. At the meeting, a peace roadmap was drawn, and the two political parties pledged to commit to it. Okay, so we've heard. Let's move to the DTT story now.
Okay, that story is in the Herald and then on page 6 of the Daily Guide, and I'm taking the Herald version. President Kufuor has directed the Minister for Communications, Esla Uso Kufu, to immediately suspend her directive to the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation and Crystal TV to reduce their channels on the digital terrestrial television platform. The statement from the Communications Directorate of the Jubilee House stated that the President of the Republic, Nana Dankwa Kufuor, on Thursday, 23 July 2020, directed the Minister for Communications, Honorable Esla Uso Kufu, to suspend the implementation of the directives given to the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Now, if you go to page 6 of the Daily Guide, €4 million Airbus scandal reveals gluttonous corruption. Special Prosecutor Martin A.B.K. Amidu has defended the red notice from Interpol, which was issued for the arrest of former President John Mahama's brother, Samuel Adam Foster, aka Samuel Adam Mahama, and 4 other foreigners, saying he built a good case to warrant the Interpol action. He has described the Airbus SC scandal in which Ghanaian top officials, through the fugitives, collected or were paid around €4 million in bribes for the supply of aircraft to the Ghana Armed Forces as gluttonous corruption.
Now, the Chronicle says, according to the special prosecutor, his probe has revealed that crimes of impersonation as graduates of the University of Ghana, a civil servant, and forgeries in the application for the acquisition of a Ghanaian passport connect to the Airbus bribery case. Now, Bernard, there's something happening on social media. I know this thing with face shields. Oh, I have 100,000 face shields for 20 Ghana cedis, 2 million face shields for 5 Ghana cedis. People have been talking about that thing, but we are being told that wearers of only face shields cannot enter banks. Yes, the Ghana Association of Bankers yesterday announced that customers, service providers, and visitors who wear only face shields alone will be denied entry into all banking facilities. The directive is also applicable to visitors to the head offices of banks, their branches, ATM stations, and bank cash centers. So you have to go in a proper face mask, not the face shield.
All right, now let's just talk about South Africa briefly.
Okay.
Now, schools to close for a month due to COVID-19 infection surge. This is the president. I'm reading the Mail and Guardian. President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa has announced the closure of public schools for 4 weeks. He said schools would close from July 27 and reopen on August 24. He, however, specified that grade 12 learners and teachers would return to class on August 3, meaning they would take a 1-week break. Grade 7 leavers would have a 2-week break and return on August 10. Now, this was because of a surge in cases. Go on.
staying there, there's a report that their death toll could be far higher. Now, according to the South African Medical Research Council, report says excess natural deaths rose by 17,000, a 59% increase compared to past 4 years.
Meanwhile, Nigeria's COVID-19 case count is 39,000, while India gives 7 tons of hydroxychloroquine to Nigeria. According to the task force, India has donated 7 tons of hydroxychloroquine to Nigeria as part of efforts to help the country combat the COVID-19 pandemic. Their case count is close to 40,000 as we speak.
And also in the Daily Guide on page 5, Trump to send surge of federal agents to cities. President Donald Trump is to send a surge of federal security forces to U.S. cities in a crackdown on crime. Chicago and 2 other Democratic Grand cities are being targeted in the Republican president's move amid a spike in violence. And Facebook is promising cheaper internet in Africa. And basically they are going to spend. They're going to spend and help the economy grow on the continent by 47 billion pounds.
Those of you who have not been able to register for the voters voter ID card, the EC has published a detailed list of where to go to register for the phase 5. It's in the Ghanaian Times, so get a copy and find
the
out where you
EC
can
is
register.
also saying that people above 50, people who work for security agencies and health personnel, can go to the district office of their constituency to register in this period. Thank you, gentlemen. That was a newspaper review. Coming up next is the City Business News. Stay with us.